Hello and welcome to Lostinsouthoz. I'm Bridget.
I'm Julie.
And today we are down near Bolivar Siding.
Chasing the elusive Indian Pacific.
And so far in any direction it seems to have not turned up on time. But we'll do our best.
We're here even if the train's not.
4:10 on a Monday afternoon. Waiting.
Yeah, go on.
This Indian, where's this one coming from?
From Perth. Due in about now, goes out later tonight on its way to Sydney.
And we're hoping to catch that then too, but it looks like there could be something in the corridor, but it's always a little bit sort of hard for us because that's the thing with timetables.
Yeah, once you're not dealing with commuter rail, timetables tend to go out the window.
Yeah. Can you tell us anything about the history of the Indian? Anything you know? Anything you might want to share?
It's been running in some form or other since the 1970s. I think it might have been 1970 itself. The service began between Sydney and Perth. It marked the completion of the standard gauge line from Broken Hill through to Port Pirie.
Yeah, and about that line, you were going to talk about that before, and so it didn't used to come this way and then go out that way.
It went straight across the northern part of the state.
Yeah, and it was because all the gauges didn't meet, and there was a time when they standardised the gauge all the way from Sydney to Perth, didn't they?
Perth, that's correct. And they did that first, and then later on they built the standard gauge line into Adelaide itself.
Yeah, and there was a reason why that this train comes through alongside the Bolivar Siding into Adelaide and then goes back out this way as opposed to going any other line out of Adelaide.
Because this is the standard gauge line out of Adelaide in this direction.
Yeah.
The other standard gauge line out of Adelaide goes to Melbourne.
Yeah, and
through the south.
Basically, to get to New South Wales, it's got to go back out, veer north, and then go out east.
It gets to this line goes to Crystal Brook. You turn left there to go to Perth. You turn right there to go to Sydney.
Yeah. So basically, it goes a little bit out of here, and then up north, and then it swings it back around. And
That's right.
Yeah. So it's not. We're getting some switching happening. I don't know, some diesels coming through. I often, the big telltale sign is if these booms go down or these switches start moving right here. But
correct.
But we're not getting much. But anyway, it's a nice clear day.
It is.
And all those moths or whatever, there's some flying bug there.
Some flying bugs. Yeah, a pile of them. Oh.
And usually it blows a gale through here, doesn't it?
But it's quite still today. Nice clear skies.
I'm not pointing that way.
No.
Is there anything you know about this switching systems or anything you can share with anyone?
Not that we haven't already mentioned.
No, I might have already seen it. But
most switching is done by electronics these days.
Yeah.
Electronic signals sent to the actual mechanism of the points, and those signals move the points motor, and the points motor moves the switch blades. And the switch blades direct the wheels of the train.
All right. Well, anyway, do we think we should just pause again to see when the train comes in?
Yeah, pause again.
Like I said, the problem with catching up with the Indian Pacific is that it's a passenger service, and
it's not a commuter service.
And they post the timetable every 3 months. So if they change this timetable,
that's a point.
You don't know. And so far we've been down here twice to meet the Indian Pacific, something else has happened along the way, hasn't it?
Exactly.
All right. And we have a headlight on approach. The boom gates are sounding. The cars are coming to a halt. And it looks like the Indian Pacific is coming. And hopefully I'll get some pictures for you. He's getting ready to come out. He's taking his time. What is it?
I don't know until I see it.
We're out here trying to catch the Indian Pacific, and the booms have gone off. We didn't think there was a train coming across here, but we're waiting on the Indian Pacific, and it doesn't come through for about another 40 minutes. This is really quiet. And it's moving really slow. It is a diesel loco. Freight train. There's only a couple of cars waiting at the crossing. Looks like the last wagon's going across the crossing. We're not the only nuts out here at midnight. Look at all these people in the cars. We've never done one at night, so that's why we came out. That was pretty cool. I enjoy that. And we wait for the Indian Pacific now.
saw leaving this afternoon.
Okay, well, I've got on video. So that was a train we saw leaving this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's gone up Bolivar Siding into that yard up there. I don't think the yard's called Bolivar, but it's called Bolivar Siding.
Yep.
Anyway, there you go.
And that clunk you just heard was the points changing.
That was the points over here, which are in pitch black, by the way. If you watched our video earlier, would have seen them.
Yeah,
but we're waiting for the Indian Pacific,
Pacific,
and it's probably got about half an hour before it goes through.
Probably.
Okay. I wanted to tell you the loco numbers.
Yeah, the lead loco looked like SCT-001.
Yep.
Followed by SCT-009, which were the locos that came out this afternoon.
Cool. And look at that track. It's starting to rain. So hopefully it'll be okay when the Indian comes through.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for the Indian Pacific to come through. But it looks like another freight train. Yeah. Oh, it is the Indian Pacific coming through. There you go. The Indians come through early.